The first assessment typically performed here at Neuroforce 1 is the resting metabolic rate assessment. We have Santana breathing through the tube while we monitor his oxygen consumption relative to carbon dioxide production for about 15 to 20 minutes. Number one, this allows us to objectively quantify the metabolism, thereby avoiding crude estimations or equations or just recommending 2,000 calories across the board for everybody. This allows data-driven caloric recommendations in terms of X number to maintain, gain a pound a week, lose a pound a week, whatever our goal may be. More importantly, it allows us to assess what's called respiratory quotient and substrate utilization. With that, we're able to determine basically how many carbohydrates versus fat he burns at rest. With the standard American diet, we're typically going to see a lot of people come in as major sugar burners, essentially oxidizing too much carbohydrates. What we want to do is promote metabolic efficiency, teaching the body to utilize fat more effectively for a variety of reasons. Number one, if we're burning fat, we tend to maintain a better body composition and not break down our muscle. Next is in terms of sustainable energy production. Regardless of how lean you are, you tend to have about 20 days worth of fat energy, whereas our blood sugar stores are very limited, even in the best trained athletes in the world. So what we want to do is teach you how to dip into this unlimited fuel store and save those more precious glycogen or sugar stores. Last but not least is free radical production, essentially how much damage we do to our cells in response to our metabolism. Basically, when we oxidize carbohydrates, we do significantly more damage called free radical damage than when we're burning fats. So for just about every reason in the book, we can look better, feel better, have more energy, and age more gracefully if we can get these metabolic nutrition program correct. So utilizing this data from the resting metabolic rate assessment, we not only determine the exact number of calories that a user should be consuming, but broken down into carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, completely individualized based on their physiology and their goal, as well as produce individualized food lists, all the way to the extent where we can deliver fresh food to the door every single morning. I fucking hate being on camera. All right. Utilizing the data from the resting metabolic rate assessment, we're not only able to determine the exact number of calories, but further break that down into carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, as well as produce individualized food lists with that data as well. Basically, the entire goal of our nutrition programs here, number one is to promote metabolic efficiency, so fat burning. Number two is to mitigate the ill oxidative effects of exercise. People don't really understand, but there are ill effects of exercise that need to be managed with proper antioxidant intake. And last but not least, the underlying goal here is to increase what's called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. This is essentially growth hormones for motor neurons, how we create hyperplasticity so that we can learn things more effectively. These are all of the goals that we build into our nutrition programs.